All right, so it might just be me on this um, volunteer training today, but that's okay because this is an important one that needs to happen. And it's something that everybody needs to be aware of. So even if um, nobody comes on, that's fine because then we'll have this video for the library. So if you're watching this again, sorry we missed you at the meeting. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started because I have some information to get through and it can be kind of tedious. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Share this one. Okay, so just to begin, we have a few events coming up that you should be aware of. We've got bird watching class, junior master gardeners, lots of fun stuff coming up. If you are a club leader, we also have the youth leadership training on the 3rd of June that we are doing down at the event center. And so it's going to be a lot of fun and they're going to learn leadership skills as well as participate in trainings that they can take back to your club. And then obviously the Cache County Fair, just to keep that in note. On that, we've had a lot of changes that we've had to go through. So we appreciate everybody's patience and understanding. Courtney, our staff assistant, has been dealing with a lot of questions and we're trying to answer them the best that we can. But obviously, like, we appreciate the patience that you've given us. So today's topic seems kind of boring, but it is something that we need to go over. Volunteers of any kind need to be aware of the risks that they take when signing up to volunteer and run a 4-H club, and then how we as a university entity are here to protect you. Now, I will say I'm not an expert on risk, so don't take anything I say as like gospel. If you have deeper questions, we definitely can look into it. And I've tried to do as much research as I could beforehand to be able to give you the information that you need. But like I said, I'm not an expert by any means on this. So what is risk? There's two kinds of risk we're going to talk about today. Physical risk to yourself, to property, and then also emotional and mental risk. I think that's something that people forget about when dealing with risk, and understanding that that is something that you as a volunteer need to be aware of as you run your club. So there's 4 types of individuals at a 4-H event. You've got your employees. So there's a picture of me and Courtney representing Utah State. And when we are at an event, we are employees of Utah State. We aren't Alicia and Courtney. We are 4-H employees. Then we've got volunteers. So that's a picture of Pam. She runs our dog club. Participants, which are obviously your 4-Hers. That's actually a picture of my little sister showing horses last summer. And then spectators, those people who have just come to watch. So grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles. If my fiance came to an event, he would be considered a spectator. They're not actively doing anything with the event. They're just watching. So there are some insurances in case of an emergency that Utah State and 4-H will help cover things. We've got like liability insurance, property damage, car insurance, and health insurance. Now, to be able to qualify for these things, we have to have record that 1, you are meeting as a 4-H club, and 2, you are enrolled in 4-H as a volunteer or a participant. So if something happens at our underwater basket weaving class and it wasn't in the name of 4-H, we can't do anything about it. And you have to have record that it's going to be a 4-H meeting, you know, a text saying, hey, we're going to meet as a 4-H club on this day, take attendance, take roles. That's why we have to have clubs chartered, is to be able to protect you from not being able to get the help you need in case of an accident. Same with car insurance and health insurance, or property damage. Obviously, like, use your best judgment, but there are protections there to keep you safe as a volunteer. If you are volunteering at an event, you're considered an unpaid employee by Utah State, and in certain cases, workman's comp can kick in. So if you're volunteering at a horse show and a horse runs a gate and runs you over, Utah State will cover what your insurance will not. So if you get hurt and your deductible says you have to pay $500, Utah State insurance will kick in. 4-H also has special insurance for large groups, where if there's a big event and they're not signed up in 4-H, we can have like a policy, just like a blanket thing. So if we have a big event, that way we can just like keep people safe. So if you are participating in a livestock and horse club events, you need to have the appropriate signage posted. And what that does is it tells spectators who are not covered under insurance that if you're here, you take on the risk. And it basically just protects the university and protects them and just says like, hey, these are dangerous animals, like, or these are big animals that can be dangerous. Make sure that you are aware of the risk that you're taking on when you attend these events. So grandma and grandpa are safe when they're watching horse shows or livestock shows or underwater basket weaving classes. So if there is an incident in your club, activity, event, whatever, here are some things that you need to do. So first you're gonna fill out, well, first of all, if it's like a bodily harm injury type accident, like make sure everybody's okay, like get medical attention first, like get an ambulance, call 911, whatever. Make sure everybody is okay first. And then second, you'll fill out the proper form. And that link is right there at the bottom. And if you have any questions, like I'll send it to you. Utah State can take a little bit longer to file or to get claims back to you, but they work very hard to make sure that you're compensated for what happened. As far as mental risk, so as 4-H leaders, we have to be the epitome of anti-bullying and like respectful language, using proper pronouns and avoiding racial slurs, that kind of thing, because it can really damage people's reputation and idea of 4-H. So make sure that when you're dealing with these like high risk or just be aware of what you're saying to people and just to be kind. I think there's nothing wrong with remembering to be kind and to take care of everybody around you and just be aware of the words that you're using. So if something happens and you do feel like there's bullying or harassment at an event, there is also a form for that you can report. Then the university will get involved and will investigate to see what happened and what can be done to resolve this situation. So honestly, the biggest thing with risk is just remembering to be smart about how you're running events and to make sure you're doing them safely. Maybe talk with your club, your youth leaders, to come up with like a volunteer or like a safety plan and something to just keep everybody okay. And something that like it's better to be safe than sorry, honestly. Like I really believe that you can't take too many precautions. We had a few incidents last year that were just unfortunate, but luckily we had a plan in place. And so everybody turned out okay. And I think without those plans, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So if you have any other deeper questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know this can kind of seem like a boring and overwhelming topic, but it is something that I feel like we need to cover in our county, especially as we head into summer months. Clubs are meeting livestock, horses, dogs, honestly, anything. If a kid's cooking and he burns his hand, just make sure everybody is protected. So anyway, thank you for coming. And we will see you guys later. Bye.